Lawyers are crooked, they are crooks, they are going to take your money. But the reality is, we're just people, just regular old people. I was born and raised in Haiti. I came to the US. I thought my life was going to change for the best. Well, that's not what happened. I faced discrimination, harassment, all of it. High school was extremely tough for me. I was a single mom when I started law school. Driving 4 hours a day. I probably cry every day. My journey was not easy, but I am so grateful for everything. One of the things that I'm so proud and grateful for is the fact that I grew up in Haiti. I learned to be resilient. We all have souls, we all go through things, and we should all give each other grace. If you were to meet me and you didn't know I was an attorney, my story would probably sound very similar to yours. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Lawyers Have Souls Too. You've heard it all. Lawyers are crooked. They are crooks. They are going to take your money. I mean, all of the bad stuff. But the reality is, we're just people, just regular old people. We have families. We struggle. We stress. The whole 9 yards. This podcast is going to focus on everything but the law. We are going to talk about real stories, about real people going through real struggles. My name is Winnie Jean-Pierre, and welcome to Lawyers Have Souls Too. First, we're going to talk about me. Who am I? Where do I come from? And also about my soul. So to get started, my name is Winnie Jean-Pierre. I have a very French name. I was born and raised in Haiti. If you don't know where that is, it's a small country in the Caribbean. We are getting a lot of popularity lately. Yes, for those of you who don't know about Haiti, we are a small island. We've been in the news quite a few times, obviously, like everything else. It's all the bad stuff. Okay, they show you, oh, it's so scary and it's so dirty, it's this and that. And I think most of the time when Haiti's mentioned, it's always mentioned with, oh, it's the poorest country in the atmosphere. Yeah, okay. For those of you who actually did take a history class and they did talk about Haiti, Haiti is a beautiful island with beautiful people, great food, great music, all of that. If you really don't know anything about Haiti, Wyclef Jean, okay, he's Haitian. We have quite a few of them, okay? So everybody know Wyclef Jean. Again, if you like, I'm not sure, ça passe. That's what everybody say when they see a Haitian. Anyways, let's get back to the real story. So born and raised in Haiti, I have an older brother, 2 parents, whole house. I thought I had a pretty good childhood. I mean, for me, I thought everything was great. I thought my parents were rich. You know, we had a house, we had TV, not the fancy stuff you guys have now, right? I was born in the 90s. So, yeah, things were a bit different. So, yeah, my parents, my dad is he's retired now, but my dad was an attorney. My mom was a teacher. And I thought they were doing pretty good. I went to a private school, all-girls school. Maybe I'll tell you about that at some other time. But yeah, I went to a Catholic school, all girls. I had an older brother. And, we did okay. Now, here's the thing. It didn't occur to me that we were not rich. I thought we were, but we were not. Because here's what happened. My mom and my dad got married when they were really young. So my mom had a big family, 5 sisters. And my dad had 5 or 6 brothers and sisters all together. And in our house, it was like a 3-bedroom house. And my aunt was living with us from my mom's side. And then my uncle was living with us from my dad's side. It was a 3-bedroom. I mean, we were kind of like the Brady Bunch. Like, there was a whole lot of people in the house. Again, I didn't think of any. I thought that was normal. I didn't have a room. Like, I was sharing a room with my brother and whoever. I don't even remember at this point. But anywho, So my parents got divorced when I was 14. And you know what happened when divorce happened? Yeah, that stuff. Yeah, that happened to me. So when they got divorced, my mom decided to move to the US and my dad decided to stay in Haiti. And I came to the US. Now, if you were born here, you won't understand. If you were not, and you came here as a child, as an adult, you'll understand. I thought my life was going to change for the best. I was like, I'm going to go to America. I'm going to see all the stars. Like, life is going to be great. Everything's going to be perfect. Well, that's not what happened. That is not what happened. First of all, I had to leave my dad, again, divorce. And I moved in with my mom. She got remarried. You know how that goes, you know. Didn't quite like the guy. Hopefully he's not watching. But anyways, and you know, in Haiti, I was pretty smart. I'm still smart, I think. You know, I came here and first they, you know, took me to school. I register, and then that's when things just went, yeah. So when I got to school, they put me in ESL. If you don't know what that is, it's like for the non-speaking English. You go and you learn English. And by the way, before I came here, I thought I spoke English because I took English classes in Haiti. Except that when I came here and I was speaking, they didn't understand. My English teacher did a terrible job. But anyhow, so when I got to school, I face, you know, discrimination, harassment, all of it. And what was surprising to me and hurtful is because the people that were harassing or discriminating, they were Black people. They were also immigrant. There was this specific Jamaican girl. I don't think I ever bothered to learn her name. She just did not like me. I mean, I step in like as soon as she's like the girl, she made my life a living hell. She didn't like the way I dress. She didn't like the way I talk. She didn't like the way I walk. Like she was on me every single day. And and again, maybe some of you can relate. Because she was also Black, I didn't think it made sense for me to go and report her because I said, well, I can't report her because she looks like me, and I can't say, and obviously I didn't know what harassment and all that stuff meant. So I said, well, she can't be really harassing me because we both Black. But interestingly, the people that kind of took me in, they were Hispanic. I mean, there was this one particular Mexican kid. I won't say his name, but he was like in love with me. Listen, this man protected me from this crazy lady, women, whatever. And so I kind of went through it. I did not have a good time in high school. High school was extremely tough for me. But again, from the outside looking in, because I was smart, right? People just thought that I had it good, right? People wanted to be my friend because I was smart. They're like, oh, she has all the answers. But outside of that classroom, because when you're in ESL or in ESOL, nobody speaks English. So who's going to make fun of you? But outside of that, because you still had to take like the regular classes, like when you go to the math class, everybody's everybody. Okay. You're not in this little bubble anymore where you are protected. So that's where the bullying happened. And, you know, professors, teachers, some of them were nice, some of them were not. They would make slick comments, you know, like, oh, so you're from Haiti, huh? There was a particular thing that happened. I don't remember exactly what year, but there was a group of Haitian who just, you know, there was a boat, you know, how they used to call us the boat people. They came on a boat in Miami and it was all over the news, like all over. It was a nightmare. I remember like I would wake up every day and I would like cry. And I'd be like, I'll tell my mom, do I have to go today? And she would say yes. Now, if you're a Caribbean parents, they don't play with school. Like if you don't go to school, if you dead. If you are alive, you go to school. Like, you have a fever, it's 103, it's deadly, you go to school. That's what happened. My mom said, well, is something wrong with you? I said, I don't want to go because they're making fun of me. They saying this. She's like, okay, we're going. And I said, but you're not hearing me. Like, I'm trying to tell you. She said, no, we're going. Um, so I went to school. It was so hard. And again, the hardest thing is I could not even rely on the other Haitians because they're like, at least you smart, Winnie. Like, you different, right? You can't hang out with us. So I cannot hang out with the Haitians. I cannot hang out with the Jamaicans because they say they don't like me. And again, I'm just kind of like in this bubble. So I made it through high school. Let me tell you how bad it was. I graduated high school early. I wanted to get it done and over with. So I went to my counselor and said, hey, what do I have to do? I need to get out of here. They said, well, you're smart. Take some college classes, whatever. I did whatever they told me to do, graduated early. I didn't go to prom. I didn't do homecoming. I didn't do graduation. I just got my diploma and left. So I said, okay, I'll go to college and things might be better. Yeah, things were okay in college, I would say. Why? Because I didn't socialize. I did not participate in anything. I just went to class, go home. Um, and from there, I had a baby in college. That was interesting. Yeah, I had a baby. I was fully grown. I was 23, a senior in college. But boy, oh boy. Yes. The culture difference between, you know, us Haitian and American is very different. Um, there is a huge and that varies from, culture to culture, but in my culture, if you are pregnant and you are not married, that's terrible. If you're pregnant, it's bad. Like, why are you pregnant? Why? And so I got pregnant. And the interesting thing is everybody was worried that my life was over. Everybody kept asking me, what about school? I thought you wanted to be a lawyer. Like, what are you going to do? And I said, well, I only carry the baby for 9 months. I give birth and I go back to school. They were like, no, we don't see that for you. Like, what are you going to do? It's such a shame you threw your life away. Like, and I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do? So anyways, I was I went through this whole shameful situation. I was pregnant, I wasn't married, and everybody thought I was throwing my life away. We got over that, sorta. Um, I think it was more difficult coming from, someone super close to you. My dad specifically, he had a hard time. He had a really hard time, not because of anything. It's like, why are you pregnant? Why you're not even an attorney yet? In my dad's book, that was, how it's supposed to go. I'm supposed to have this wonderful career. And after many years, maybe when I'm 35 or 40, then I have a kid and get married. My mom was a bit more okay with that. But, I would hear the whispers as I go to school and, I go to, and the professors will be like, oh, 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 yeah. So you get the looks and everybody's like whispering, and it was just a weird thing for me. So I think that was also different, and people just, you could tell they look at you and they judging, right? Um got over that, went to grad school, which was good. Grad school, I actually enjoy grad school. Um, I went and got 2 masters. Now, the goal was to always go to law school. That was always the goal. And um, eventually, I took the LSAT, started law school. Now, things took a very different route when I got there because now I was just not just regular old Winnie. I was a single mom. I believe my daughter was about 3 or 4 when I started law school. And I had just purchased a home, had a baby, and started law school. What was I thinking? Now, here's the kicker. The law school was about 2 hours away from where I live. Because I had just purchased the house, I couldn't just get up and move, right? So I said, I'll commute with a baby, okay, a toddler. And I did that for the entire time while I was in law school. So that's driving 4 hours a day. I went to school 5 days a week. That's 20 hours just driving. Let me tell you, I think I probably cry like every day. And the days that I wasn't crying is because I was just tired of crying. So I would take a break in between. But it was so hard. You're trying to kind of get things going for you, right? And at the same time, you kind of have to balance, okay, I'm a mom, I'm a single mom, I have help. I have to make sure that I use the help wisely, right? Because everybody have lives. Like my mom had her own life, so I walking around her schedule, making sure that somebody's helping me with this baby. And then mom guilt. Oh, mom guilt. And sorry to the men out there. I don't know what you guys have. Maybe somebody will come and explain to me what that looks like for you. But mom guilt is real. I mean, you know, on one hand, I said I'm doing this for my daughter. Like I'm going to school. I'm going to be an attorney. I'm setting, I'm going to be a role model for her. I'm leading by example because I'm doing something right. On the other hand, it's like women, like you you saw this baby like 16 hours ago. And by the time you get home, she's going to be sleeping. By the time you leave the house, she's still going to be sleeping. Like, what are you doing? When are you going to spend time with your kid? I remember when my daughter was in pre-K, everybody's talking about their mom. And she said, my mom, she just go to school and study. That's what she does. That's all she had to say. And I remember I felt so bad because we didn't, the kids were like, my mom's take me to the park. We go get ice cream. We do this. I mean, I did that, but not like the other parents. I mean, the other parents, they had more what I call a stable life. I didn't have that. My kid just said, all mommy does is study and go to school. And everybody just kind of looked at her like, okay, sucks for you, little one. And now I'm in law school. I'm dealing with life. I'm in law school. And, you have to keep it together, right? Everybody just know that people knew that I live 2 hours away because I made it known, you know. And what was interesting in law school was the first thing that I noticed. That's a question that people always ask me. What was your first day of law school like? It was interesting. You know, almost kind of like in the movies. You walk into this big, huge auditorium with like 100 people. And what they don't show you in the movies, or at least for me, it was just very different people. We have like people that were just about 21, 22. You had people like me that, it was my late 20s. And then you had people that were like in their 50s. They've been married before, divorced. They had other careers before. So it was very interesting because when I looked around, I said, oh, this is interesting. And then we had to introduce ourselves and you kind of hear people's background. I think that's one of the things that's fascinating about law is your background could be whatever, theater, okay, whatever. You could be a singer and decide to go to law school, if you can make it. Now we have reality star Kim Kardashian who, went to law school, whatever she did, but you get it. So yeah, I thought that was interesting because we had different people and I love people. So I was excited about that. I said, ooh, I can maybe talk to her and find out like, what are you doing here? I think I had somebody in my class who was, I can't really remember what she did, but she did something super fancy, making a lot of money. And she said, oh, I got tired. I always wanted to be an attorney and I'm here. You had other women saying that, they kind of stay back so the husband can go and do whatever the husband wanted to do. And then now it's their turn. And then, you had people like me who was just trying to figure out what to do with my life. And that was that. Second thing that surprised me about law school was the drama. Oh, the drama. Oh, the drama. Specifically, okay, the the affairs, like, this person is having an affair, this person is sleeping with this person, this guy is dating two girls at the same time. It was real. I think the first time that I heard a little gossip, I kind of turned around and say, am I in the right space? And then I realized, maybe that was like week 1 or 2, and then I realized it was a thing. I mean, there was a lot of drama. No one got caught like the Coldplay people, but I mean, it was happening. Could you imagine? Yeah, people were in the library studying. There was a lot of studying happening. Late night, early mornings. Law school libraries are open pretty much all day because, people have to study. But there was a lot of that. And I remember on day one, I had a professor, very funny lady. She said, look to your right, look to your left. Before the end of your journey here, you probably gonna end up with this person. And I was thinking, not me. I'm not here for that. And yes, by the way, I did not end up with, I didn't. But interestingly, a lot of people got divorced while in law school because they just meet somebody else who was better or they thought were better, whatever the case was. And a lot of people got together too. Interesting stuff, right? And I think the other thing that I thought was interesting in law school for me was just really the level of competition. Yes, it's law school, we know. Everybody wants to be the best. But let me tell you, the competition was real. I mean, we talking about people are just going above and beyond and doing all kinds of stuff to be number one, to be the best, to to just be known. And I was just there. I said, I just want to get good grades. I just want to make it to the dean list. You get your A's and you get there. I'm not trying to compete and doing all this stuff with all these people because I have a little one at home. Like, I had 2 jobs, okay? And it was to the point where at the time for me, it was a struggle because some days I felt like, school, I prioritized school over my child. And that's just me being honest. Some days I felt like that. And some days I said, well, I'm giving too much here and I need to put some more here, right? And again, the struggle, it was extremely hard. And having to explain things and thinking you have time, because for me, I thought I had time. I said, well, my daughter's 3. By the time she's 6, I'll pass the bar and whatever the case was, and I'll be done with school. And that's not what happened. The dance rehearsal that I missed when she was 4, and she still remembers. She remembers. And it doesn't matter. I've been to 100 rehearsal. I still feel guilty about that one. Just that one that I missed. So, as a parent and you trying to do life and do things, it can get extremely hard. And how do you explain that to a kid? And they'd say, yeah, one day they'll get it. Maybe. I think what I also didn't realize is that something else was going to come after law school. So went to law school, then you had to go through the process of passing the bar. That is another one. You spent all that money. Law school is very expensive. And then when you're done, you just think you just go and take a test. Then you have to spend more money. It just doesn't stop, right? You spend more money, then you spend more time because you have to study to take this very, very, very difficult test. It is draining. It is probably the one of the hardest tests out there. It's a 2-day test. There's like 3 parts. There's like a zillion questions. And if you ask me, or if you ever try to take the LSAT, it doesn't even make sense. That's why I tell people, like, listen, you can be smart and still unable to pass a test. That doesn't mean you're not smart. Some of us are not great test takers. Everybody has their thing, and so on and so forth. And, whoever's putting the test together, they are doing it based on their own knowledge, right? So based on what they know, they're trying to see if you know what they know. And maybe you do, but you understand it in a different way. So now I graduate law school. Okay, I was excited. Then I had to study for the bar. Like I said, I graduated law school right before COVID, and then I studied for the bar during COVID. So go figure. I'm in this house with this child, okay, trying to figure life. Now she's like, Mommy, so we done, right? I remember my if you guys watch the movie Are We There Yet? That was my daughter. Are we done yet? Instead of Are we there yet? Are we done yet? Because I told her, okay, Mommy has to do this. Mommy has to go to school to be a lawyer. So Mommy can provide for you. So Mommy can do all these things for you. And it came to a point where she said, listen, I don't care. I don't care if you need to be a lawyer. She can make more money to buy me more toys. I don't care. I just want you. I just want to spend more time with you. I just want us to do things together. I want you to be like the other moms. Why can't you be like so-and-so's mom? And again, just heartbreaking because you just don't have the answer. Like, what are you going to say? Right? So after law school, she said, okay, so now we good. Now we can spend more time together. And I said, no. Mommy now has to study for this big test. She said, okay. So a month went by, 2 months, 3 months, and then a year because COVID, you can't take the test. Everything is on pause. And then every day you could see like the disappointment and in your child's face when you kept saying, you wait. And again, they just don't get it. It just looks like Mommy doesn't want to spend time with me, right? Now, for those of you that have like, blended families, or if you if you have, any type of custody situation, you know what happens? The other parent is the good parent now. Daddy has time for me. Daddy takes me for ice cream. Daddy takes me to the park. What do you do, Mommy? All you do is study. You don't care about me. You just care about your books. Oh my gosh. I mean, it's just, it was tough. Now, okay, I passed the bar. So now we can spend more time together. You know what the answer is. Mommy has to open a law firm. She has to work. And it just never stopped. It never stopped. So this whole journey it was not easy. I'm still going through a journey. I'm just in a different chapter. And I'm just trying to figure out every day, like, what do I do? How do I do this? And when I talk to people, okay, if you were to meet me and you didn't know I was an attorney, my story would probably sound very similar to yours. And there are things that I would probably share with you that, you probably went through or didn't go through. That's what it is for other attorneys out there. Some attorneys have it worse than you do. I know. Yeah, that can be because, we have this picture that, attorneys, they have these glamorous lives and they all make money. That is not the truth, okay? That's not necessarily it depends. Not every attorney makes money. Not every attorney lie. Not every attorney out there, are bad people. Most of us are just regular old people. Like, we don't have it figured out. We don't always know the answer. We are not the best parent. We are not the best spouse. You know, I did some research recently and found that attorneys have one of the highest divorce rate. So we're not perfect. You know, we don't get it right all the time. And you know, we deal with the mental health, the burnout, the loneliness. This job can be very, very lonely. Like you just out there by yourself. Okay, you know, some of us don't even have friends. Um, and that's really what this podcast is going to focus on. Just regular people telling you about their journey, what they are going through, how they deal with mental health, how they parent, how they got over X, Y, and Z, whether it's addiction or divorce or something. And again, this is also something for everybody because we all go through it. A lot of us just don't talk about it, right? Because we want people to think that everything is well, but everybody goes through something, and we all have like our own journey. And every journey, there's always some pain, there's always some struggle, there's always something. And you have to find a way to get yourself out on the other side. My goal with this is to share my journey with you and bring in people that are going to be transparent about their journeys and allow you all into our world where we can connect and share ideas and heal together. You know, we'll talk about therapy and how we got over crap, right? And ultimately, I know it's called Lawyers Have Souls too, but it's really just everybody. We all have souls. We all go through things, and we should all give each other grace, and we should all be kind to each other. We should all just be. That's what I'm hoping that you will get from here. I'm going to learn from you. You're going to learn from me. And again, my journey was not easy. It's still not easy. I mean, I'm doing better in some areas. Some areas I'm still working through some things. You know, now I have a teenager, so I'm in a different phase now. But I am so grateful for everything. I'm grateful. One of the things that I'm so proud and grateful for is the fact that I grew up in Haiti. I learned to be resilient. Because I grew up in Haiti, I was able to get over this thing. You know, I did not go, I was not depressed. I was not okay being bullied in high school, but it didn't drive me to hurt myself because, I was like, okay, it's just a mean kid or whatever. And going through, law school and having to study day in and out, having to drive 4 hours a day. Some days I eat, some days I don't eat. I don't sleep. These are things that I've been through or somebody close to me has been through. And I always look back and say, at least I have this, right? So here I am. With Lawyers Have Souls too, I am super excited to bring this to you all. Every week we'll bring a new guest and then we will talk about will things. And this is for everybody. We're talking about lawyers, future lawyers, anybody. If you are just a human being trying to figure out life, this is for you because you learned something. Thank you so much for listening. I hope to see you all next week and we will start this beautiful journey and bring in our guests. Again, we promise to bring real people with real stories.